All right, looks like we're live. Hey, this is Sarah from Sarah and Brandon, harmoniousduo.com. As you can see, I am absent my second half, Brandon. He's doing some errands for the business today. So I'm going to be I'm actually going to take this opportunity to get a little personal with you guys since it's just me today. And I wanted to share a little bit about our story. All right, now, the image that I gave you guys, the highlights for what this conversation was going to be about was how an ex-nanny and a stay-at-home mom is able to use internet marketing to help retire my fiance and help pay off our $60,000 debt. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk with you guys about this subject, not because I want to brag, not because I enjoy sharing some of the struggles that we've been through as a family, but I feel like it's really important for you guys to have a full picture of where it is Brandon and I came from and where we're going and how all this ties together for your benefit, right? So today I want to share a little bit about our story from my perspective, okay? So I want to start off first off by saying thank you. I know that these hangouts are supposed to be about 30 minutes long. That's our aim for every single one of them. So if I go over our time limit today, I apologize, but I'm just going to speak from my heart. I'm just going to be open and transparent with you, and I hope that's okay. And, if you have, any questions or if you have any comments that, you would like to reach out with, you can feel free to connect with me on Facebook after we're over. You should see an opportunity to do that over on the side of your screen. If you're on Facebook already, then you're already there. But let's see. It's been about 5 years now since I moved to Las Vegas. I am originally from Richmond, Texas, right? And I made the decision in 2010 to come to Vegas for what was supposed to be the summer. See, all of my friends that I had known from California, they were all going to Las Vegas. They were working the strip. They were, hitting tourist season, and they were talking about how they make all this like really good money, right? And I was at a place in my life at that point where I was working 2 jobs as a preschool teacher and as a bar server. And I was working both of those jobs 7 days a week. I worked at the school Monday through Friday, and I worked at the bar Sunday through Saturday. And when I was at on the weekends, I was at the bar from 10 a.m. in the morning when we opened until about 3 o'clock in the morning, that next morning for closing. And I would just repeat that on Sundays. And then when the week itself would start over again, I would be at the school, the bar, school, the bar. Like that was my life for a good while. And the reason I was doing that is because I was living back home with my mom, and I was trying to establish some sort of financial security. I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I just knew that the only things I didn't want was a cubicle job, a corporate job, anything in politics, right? Because my family at that time was like really trying to get me involved with politics, and I just didn't want to go that route. It just seemed way too stressful. Like as important as it was, it just seemed way too stressful for what you had to deal with. And so I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew what I didn't want to do, and maybe you can relate. And so the only thing that I did know how to do at that time was working with children and serving at bars. Like that was my experience. That's all I thought that I was really capable of doing because of the fact that I didn't have a college degree and I honestly didn't want one. So I felt kind of like stuck between, a rock and a hard place. So when my friends are calling me and they're telling me that there's all this money that can be made in Vegas, it's quick, it's easy, like you'll have tons of fun. Of course, my interest was piqued, right? Because who doesn't get interested by quick, easy money, right? I'm sure you can relate to that at least a time or two. And so I decided that I was going to pack my bags. I was going to drive my little Corolla from Texas to Las Vegas, which that whole drive took me about 5 days. I won't get into details why. It was a lengthy, lonely drive. And by the time that I got into Vegas, I was absolutely exhausted, but I was so excited about the opportunity that was supposed to be there waiting for me, right? That's usually why we make big changes, because we're so excited about the opportunity that's waiting for you when you make that change, that all your exhaustion, all of your anxiety, all of your potential worry over what could go wrong, like all that seems to just disappear when you focus on the opportunity that's supposed to be right there in front of you. And I quickly realized that the opportunity that I had planned out was gone. Everything that I had planned went up in smoke, and I was left in Vegas unemployed in the summertime during tourist season. Like, that was painful. So I spent all of my savings that I had so far just making the trip and trying to stay afloat until I could find work. Thankfully, one of my roommates at the time recommended that I check out his establishment. It was pretty new. And he said, kind of the same thing. Like, they make great money. It's really easy and they have a lot of fun. And so I thought, well, you know what? I really can't be picky at this point. If they're willing to hire me, then I have to take it. Because as of right now, everybody else was kind of booked for hiring because the tourist season was like, in mid stride. And so no one was hiring at that time. So I used my connections with my roommate. He was able to land an interview, and long story short, I got the job. Well, that job is actually where I met Brandon. For anyone who has been on these hangouts before and you've heard a little bit about our story, then you guys already know that Brandon and I met at the last restaurant we both worked at. For those of you who are new to our hangouts, who you've just now tuned in, then there you go. That's our meeting story. That's how Brandon and I met. He was one of my trainers. And we pretty much just hit it off like from day one, and we never really separated since. Like we were either always on the phone texting, or we would work morning shifts together, or we would just kind of intermingle in between morning and afternoon shifts. We were always like, there was always a way for us to be together. And eventually I ended up quitting that establishment. And for those of you who tuned into one of our hangouts the other day, like, why. It was just very poorly ran systems and no support from our management staff whatsoever. And so when I was sick and tired of being, sick and tired at that job, I finally said, enough, this isn't worth it. I'm done. I don't want to be abused by this system anymore. So I quit, and then shortly thereafter, Brandon quit. Well, once again, I find myself unemployed in Las Vegas. And so the search begins again. And maybe you guys can relate to that, just feeling as though like nothing's changing, like that big opportunity that you had waiting for you right there. You were so close to touching it, just like feeling it slip from your hands and being back in the exact same starting place that you were at before you took advantage of that opportunity. And that's exactly where I was. I was right back at square one, where I'm unemployed. I have no business opportunities whatsoever. And I needed work. I needed money. I needed a job. And so I thought, okay, well, I know childcare. So let me see if anyone out here needs a nanny. And there began my nanny career. And that's how I am now an ex-nanny, because I ended up working for two different families here in the Las Vegas area. Both had 3 kids. And what ended up happening was, even though I have at that point 15 years of childcare experience, I have about almost 4 years of professional childcare teaching experience. I was completely certified in all areas of childcare, right? I was still only making between $50 to $70 a day between both those families. It was really painful. It was exhausting. And I did this for almost 2 years. And finally, Brandon and I realized that we were pregnant. We were going to have our first baby girl, Savanna, who's actually downstairs right now, enjoying her 30-minute period on her iPad. And when I broke the news to Brandon, I was ecstatic, but I was, of course, nervous at the same time, because, that's a lot of big changes that has to happen. And, one of the things that was going through my head was, I don't want to be absent. Like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to be there for her all the time, because I got to see and experience how valuable that was when my sister and I were growing up before our younger siblings came, because our mom was a stay-at-home mom for us for a long time. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I loved being able to go to the school bus and wait for our bus with my mom. I loved being able to know that when we were going to get off from school at the bus stop, she'd be there waiting for us. She would walk us home. She was there for breakfast. She was there to make us our snacks, our dinner. help us with our homework. Like, she was always there, and it was so valuable to me. And as I've grown older, I've gotten to see the differences that happen between families that have a stay-at-home parent versus two working parents. And in my personal opinion, it's so beneficial for the family as a whole to have someone staying at the home. And so that was what I wanted. I wanted to be there for my daughter. I wanted to be there for our family. But then at the same time, I realized if I do that, if Brandon and I make this decision to do that, I'm going to have to sacrifice my income. Now, my income isn't that much, but it's still a second income. And we're going to have to go down to one. You see, at this point, Brandon had become a full-time poker player. And before we got pregnant with Savanna, things were great. He was winning like left and right. We had a great lifestyle for a really long time when we first got together before we had Savanna. And it seemed as though when I broke the news that I was pregnant, it seemed like that's when poker stopped providing for us. And he experienced more and more dry runs at the table. And he would come home sometimes after 18 hours. After 18 hours at a poker table. And he would sometimes come home either with the exact same amount of money that he left with, right? He was able to break even, or with no money at all because he lost everything. Hold on. Go. Sorry about that, guys. So it was really painful for me to have to sit and watch my fiance, who was doing something that he truly loved. Like, he really does love poker. And that's why he decided to pursue it full time, because he thought, well, I can make money off my passion. My passion is poker, so let's just go for it. And I was totally with him because I had faith in my fiance. I had faith in him that he would be able to make it work. And we just hit a dry spot. Unfortunately, that dry spot seemed to happen when we were accumulating a lot of debt. Right. When I met Brandon, he already had debt from when he was a realtor, when he was a licensed realtor who sold houses like on his own. I believe he was an independent real estate agent, but he had accumulated debt prior to when we met. And when we started hitting our dry runs, we were forced to go to our credit cards, as many people who come to us for help find themselves at by the time they come to us. So I know you can completely relate, but it was really painful for me to have to sit there and watch the man that I love do something that he absolutely loves doing and it not give him the rewards he's looking to get from it. And instead have to spend so much time building up all of this massive credit card debt, between the debt that we had accumulated before we met, while we were, accumulating while we were together, and then all of the expenses we were incurring from my being pregnant and the medical procedures, and just all of that, we were now looking at like $60,000 in debt. Guys, that's $60,000. That's an entire year's salary for some people. And at that time, I was just a nanny making at most $70 a day. Needless to say, it was a very painful experience. And on the outside, everyone thought we had this perfect life, right? But on the inside, we were struggling just like everybody else. The only difference was we didn't really talk about it. We kept that between, our family. We kept that inside our house. And so while everyone on the outside was thinking that we were living this perfect life, we had no problems, everything was carefree, on the inside, at night, it got to a point where we were so frustrated with where we were financially that I would cry in bed at night, underneath the covers, as quietly as I could, because I didn't want to wake Brandon. I didn't want him to see me stressed out like that. I didn't want to see where we were financially hit me the way that it was hitting me. Because it was, like I said, guys, it was very painful for me to watch my fiance, the man that I love, put so much into something he was so passionate about and not get the benefits from it. I'm sure you can relate to that, of what it's like to watch someone that you love put so much effort and energy into something and it just not work out. It's painful. So I resorted to crying at night underneath the covers in quiet, in complete silence. And at the same time, Brandon was experiencing nightmares, like severe nightmares, almost every single night. He would wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, almost shaking from what he was experiencing in his dreams, because there was so much that was on his plate with providing for not just him and I, but for him, I, and our expected child. There was a lot of pressure that was on his plate because poker wasn't providing for us anymore. And the fact that things got so bad that I was considering putting our daughter in daycare, right? Because we're going to fast forward a little bit into the story. This struggle went on throughout the first almost 17 months that our daughter was alive. So things were getting bad while we were pregnant, and then things continued to get bad, if not worse, after we had her, right? That's pediatrician visits all the time, and those are expensive. That's medicine for when she's sick, which is also expensive. There's just daily things that occur, like just the diapers. Just the expenses we spent in diapers and formula alone. Any parent out there knows that stuff is expensive and it can break your bank, right? And that's where we were. Like, our bank was totally broken. We were broken. And it was at the point when we were about ready to give up. And I can say that because for me, giving up would be putting my daughter in daycare so I could go fill out an application and go get a job. And it was when we were at that lowest point in our life, when we were so desperate for something to change, that things did change. Our good friend came by for another time in a 7-month period where he had been attempting to explain to us this internet marketing opportunity that he and his girlfriend were involved with. And it was going very, very well for them. He had been trying to introduce us this experience, and we were stuck in such a place of struggle and hardship that we just couldn't see the opportunity, because for so long we had been used to being so close to getting the rewards from opportunities that we chased, only to have it snatched away from us. So we were in a very bad place mentally to just not receive this information. But finally, like I said, when we hit that lowest point, when we were considering breaking promises we had made to our family, it seemed like that's when everything switched in our mind. And our friend came over one more time, introduced this internet marketing opportunity to us, and we looked at each other. And I remember that night, that very night, Brandon and I were laying in bed and we were talking about this. And he was asking if I thought this is something we should do. Because for him, he told me that whatever I decide, he'll go with. If I don't want to do this with him, I don't have to. I can continue to keep my focus on Savanna 100%, and he'll build the business by himself, or we could do it together. Or if I'm totally and completely uncomfortable with it, period, we don't have to do it. But if we don't do it, one of us is going to have to go get a job. And we decided that it was better to take a leap of faith. Despite the fact that we had experienced so many missed opportunities before, despite the fact that we had been denied the rewards from our hard work for so long before, we decided that the vision that we had for our family was bigger than that. We decided that the vision we had for our just even Brandon and I as partners was bigger than that. And so we made the decision together. I looked him in the eyes and I said, we have been praying. We've been praying for so long for something to come to us, present itself as a legitimate opportunity for us to be able to both be home for Savanna full time, for us to be able to make an income without interfering with our family time, for us to be able to pay off our $60,000 debt, for us to build something that is meaningful. It means something, for us to be able to build a legacy, and most importantly, something that allowed us to help other people do the same thing, that gave us the opportunity to help other people who were in our same situation, or maybe worse, to help bring them out of their struggle and into prosperity as well. That was really important to us because we knew what it was like to struggle, and we knew how hard it was on families, and we didn't want that for people. We wanted to be the kind of people who helped other people, right, overcome their challenges. And so the fact that all of that was wrapped up for us in this neat little box with this internet marketing opportunity that we were presented, I looked at Brandon and I said, we've been praying for so long for something like this, and it may seem a little unconventional for what we were thinking of, but I think because of where we're at right now, this is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. And I want to do this with you. I want to do this with you. So if you're serious, if you want to do it, like I support you 100%. I want to do this with you. And so we made the decision, and we did. 18 months ago, we made the decision to get started with our internet marketing opportunity. And our journey has been an interesting one, to say the least. But I wouldn't change it for the world, because yes, it's not quick and easy money that most people assume internet marketing is. It's not a push button, get rich quick scheme. Let me kick up my feet and not do a single thing. Just let me rake in the money. Like it's a legitimate business. And that was something that I really appreciated about the fact, is that it was a legitimate ethical business. And that just like a real business, it was all dependent on your commitment. It's all dependent on your dedication to it and your efforts, your ability to take action. And the fact that this internet marketing opportunity has been able to provide my family with an opportunity to help me take Brandon and retire him from the casinos so that he can be a full-time, 100% present parent for Savanna and not have to miss any of her big moments, but be there for all of them. The fact that I can help bring him home to that, and the fact that I don't have to miss 18 hours of him being with our family because he's at a casino table, hopefully winning money and not losing it, that was a big deal for me. And this internet marketing opportunity, I'm not going to give the name away right now, but it's allowed us the opportunity to start paying off our $60,000 debt. It's allowed us the opportunity to start saving for our wedding. We've been engaged for going on, I think 4 or 5 years now. And when we first got started with this business opportunity, the only savings that we had that time was for our wedding. And we invested every single bit of it into building this business because we saw the vision, we saw the opportunity, we saw how not only were our friends making great money, but so many people that we were introduced to were making equally great money. So we knew it was there. We knew the opportunity and the legitimacy was there. We just had to make the decision first. Was our struggle more important to us than the anxiety of doing something different? Was the comfort of knowing the pain in our challenges more important to us than the unknown with this business opportunity? And we had to ask ourselves, the vision that we have for our family, the way we want to live, right? Because we wanted to live very comfortably. We wanted to make sure the daughter never went without anything that she ever wanted or needed. We wanted to live in a nice house in the countryside so we could have, a beautiful little family farm. And, so we could homeschool, so we could, eat healthy and not have to stress about spending like $300 at Whole Foods, which is like a whole paycheck for some people. Like, we wanted a certain lifestyle for our family. And we were so dedicated to making that happen that when you were to compare the comfortability of our challenges versus the unknown of these opportunities, it was no question for us. But, I realized that may be a question for you. You may be at a point in your life where you're considering looking for something different, where you're considering supplementing some portion of your income, if not all of it, through a different type of opportunity. And I'm here today to tell you that, look, I get where you are right now because I was there too. I get what it's like to question if it's even possible to make money online. Is it possible to make sustainable money from an internet marketing opportunity? And I'm here today to tell you that it 100% is. You just have to recognize that in order to make that happen, you have to be willing to step into a completely different mindset, which is exactly what Brandon and I had to do. Because remember, we were coming from a very negative mindset. We were coming from a very negative place where we were surrounded by things that we couldn't have. We were surrounded by stress and debt and financial struggles and worry. And that type of mindset is never going to build a rewarding business. It's never going to help you see a change in life. The only way that you can make that happen is by stepping away from that negative mentality of stress and debt and worry and just all of that nonsense into one where you recognize that you've experienced struggles, you've experienced challenges, and yes, you know what it's like to not have what you want. But you're choosing to look past that. You're willing to look through the forest, right? You're willing to look past the trees and through the forest to the other side to see that is if you can just make it through the forest, then everything that you see for yourself is on the other side. You just have to be willing to take that step in the first place. And it starts with taking a step into a different direction mentally, and then finding an opportunity that aligns with your mentality, with your core values, with where it is you're attempting to go, right? What it is, there's certain factors that you have to have in place in order to make all that work. Some people, you might go into an internet marketing opportunity and it not work for you, but it's not because of the business. It's because of the fact that either your mindset wasn't right? Or you weren't willing to look through the forest to the rewards on the other side. You were so focused on all of the trees in your way that you let that stand between you and your vision of the lifestyle that you've always wanted. Maybe for you, you want the fancy car. Maybe you want to be able to go on a shopping spree and buy all the latest clothes. Maybe you want to have all the coolest Apple accessories, or maybe you just want to travel the world and spend time surfing on the beaches like a lot of our friends now. Or maybe you just want to be able to just go off grid for however long you want to go off grid for and not have to miss the opportunity to make money, right? Or maybe for you, your type of lifestyle is where you can make enough money from your business that you can go and spend all of your time doing what you're passionate about. Maybe it's basket weaving, right? Maybe it's building gardens. Maybe, you want to build a business around helping others create a sustainable environment. Maybe you want to use your opportunity, the money that you make from your opportunity to help spread awareness about, whatever cause it is that you're passionate about. The fact of the matter is, like, all of that is bundled up within the type of lifestyle that you see for yourself. And everyone sees something different. Everyone sees a different version of their life that they're living now versus the one that they want to be living. And if you're stuck in the life that you have to live now because you feel like that's what you have to do, know that that's not what you have to do. See, Brandon and I could have just as easily decided to ignore this internet marketing opportunity and stay exactly where we were. But do you know where we'd be right now? I wouldn't be here in front of you. My daughter would be in daycare. I would most likely either be working for another family or at another serving job. And Brandon would probably be working at a serving job too while he was playing poker to supplement the income. We would never see each other. We'd never see our daughter except for at bedtime. That's where we'd be right now. I want you to think about where you would be. Because right now, I have an opportunity for you to lock arms with us, with Brandon and I. And I know Brandon's not here right now, but to lock arms with Brandon and I, to take advantage of a new opportunity. And I want you to think about where you would be if you decided to ignore this opportunity and continue doing exactly what you're doing right now. Where would you be 18 months from now? Do you think you'd be any happier? Do you think you would be any better off? Do you think if you continue doing the same thing every day that something would change? Or I want you to imagine for 1 second that you took advantage of the opportunity that I'm placing in front of you right now. And I want you to imagine what would happen if you dared to give something different a shot. What would happen if you actually made it work? You see, you have a certain amount of money that you want to make every month that can give you the opportunity to live the lifestyle you see for yourself. I don't know what that number is yet because you and I haven't met yet. But I can guarantee you that if you never make the decision to do something different, that income you see for yourself is never going to happen. Because if you continue to do the exact same thing every single day, nothing will ever change. Nothing. The only thing that will change is maybe the level of sanity that you have at the end of the day. But if that's not good enough for you, if you want to work with ethical people who are willing to be, elbow to elbow with you, helping you build your own online business and doing what we have to do to help make your vision come to life. So long as you're committed to your vision and you are committed to putting in the work and to taking action, and when we give directions, you following it. If you're willing to do that, we're willing to work with you as long as it takes to get you to step into that vision you have for yourself. Because I know that throughout these last few minutes I've been talking, you've been seeing that vision for yourself. You've been able to see yourself stepping into that lifestyle that you want. Maybe you've just stepped into a brand new Lamborghini and you're on your way down the road now to go show off your new car to all your friends. Maybe you stepped onto a beach in Thailand and you've got the waves caressing your toes and the sunshine warming your skin. And you're looking around and you're saying to yourself, I made it. I finally made it. Maybe for you, you've just stepped into your brand new home and your kids come running up to you. And they're saying they're so excited to spend all day with you doing whatever it is your family wants to do, because you're no longer limited to finances. You no longer have to say, no, we can't afford that. No, mommy can't buy that. No, I'm sorry. Daddy has to tell you no. Daddy didn't make enough this week to get that for you. Maybe now you've stepped into a vision and a lifestyle where you don't ever have to tell your kids no. Or if you do, it won't be because of finances. It'll just be maybe because they're just being buttholes for the day, right? But it won't be because you don't have the money. If you're willing to do something different and you're willing to commit and you're willing to say, my vision of the lifestyle I want is more important than the struggles that I'm experiencing right now, then I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to take this moment and click the button you see over on the side of your screen. If you're on Google+, it should be for you over on the left. If you're on Facebook, it should be at the bottom. But there will be an opportunity that says, work directly with us here. I want you to take advantage of that button. I want you to click it. I want you to go through the process. I want you to watch the video where you get to hear testimonies from our good friends Justin and Dee about how this exact same internet marketing opportunity changed their life. I want you to listen to some of the testimonials from some of our good friends and leaders of our industry and how they went from zero to hero with this internet marketing opportunity. And then I want you to finally, because I know that by that point, you're going to have a lot of questions about how exactly this all works and how it can work for you. Don't worry, we've got that covered for you as well. We get all of that in detail stuff for you after you get to hear from a few of our friends. And I want you to make the decision that your lifestyle, the vision you see for your future, is so much more important than where you are now. And I want you to lock arms with us right then and there and connect with us. Let us speak directly with you. Let us tap into what it is that you see for yourself. Let's figure out a game plan on how we can help you achieve that goal, because us being able to help you achieve your success will help us achieve our success, because we are so devoted to our team that if we can make sure our team succeeds, then we know that our success is basically guaranteed. We're here to help you so long as you're willing to help yourself. But that will never happen if you don't make the decision to do something different. And you've got that opportunity to do something different right now, over to the side of your screen or below this video. Take that opportunity. And if for some reason in 14 days you decide that you don't see the value in what we're giving you, then there's no risk involved because we'll give you your money back. We only want people here who want to be here, who believe in our vision, who believe in their own vision, and are committed to making it work. But I know that's you because you've stuck it out with me today. So I can't wait for you to make the decision to click the button over to the side or below the screen and to go through the process of locking arms with us. And know that when you do, Brandon and I will be waiting for you on the inside to help welcome you into the team, to help get you started fast, to help get you a little, oriented with our new team, with the process, with everything that's involved with helping you build your business. And if you're committed to following our mentorship, we're willing to commit to you 100%. I look forward to working with you, and I'm excited to hear about what dreams you have for yourself and how we can work together to make that happen. But the only way we can do that is if you take advantage of the opportunity that I'm giving you right now. And when you do, know that we'll be waiting for you on the inside to help make your lifestyle, your dream, your vision come to life. I look forward to working with you guys, and I hope you guys got a lot of value out of, my personal share with you today. If you'd like to connect with me on Facebook, you should see an opportunity. If you're on Google Plus, you should see the opportunity over to the side of your screen. If you're on Facebook, just go ahead and send me a message right now. But know that I will ask you if you took advantage of the opportunity. And if you said no, I will ask you why. But I know that you won't, because I know that you're willing to make a change, and I know that you're dedicated to living the lifestyle that you see for yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. It's time for me to go spend some time with Savanna, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.